Hey everyone, ready to crack the TikTok code? We're diving deep into how to totally dominate TikTok in 2025. And lucky for us, we've got some awesome insights from the SocialWick podcast. So yeah, get ready because they've got some seriously smart strategies that might just blow your mind.
Well, it's really interesting how TikTok's algorithm has totally shifted. It's not just about chasing those, fleeting viral moments anymore. It's all about keeping those eyeballs glued to the screen. And that's where it gets really strategic. You know what I mean?
Totally. Longer watch times, tons of engagement. That all makes sense.
Yeah.
But SocialWick also talked about this thing called niche authority. And I got to admit, I'm a little curious about that one. What's that all about?
It's actually pretty clever if you think about it. TikTok wants to keep users on the app, right? And what's going to keep someone scrolling more than feeling like they're actually learning something new from someone who really knows their stuff? That's what niche authority is all about. You become the go-to expert in your little corner of TikTok. And the more TikTok sees you as that expert, the more they're going to show your videos to the people who are actually interested in it.
So it's not just about being good at something. It's
Yeah.
about being known for it on TikTok specifically.
Exactly. And that's where content strategy comes into play. Okay, so this is where SocialWick really blew my mind. They were saying that educational content is seriously trending on TikTok right now. Who knew, right? Who would have thought learning could be so entertaining?
Right. I know. It's wild. It's like TikTok is becoming this totally unexpected place to learn new things.
Yeah.
But there's got to be more to it than just throwing random facts out there. What kind of edutainment is actually working?
So this is where it gets super interesting. Get this. People are going crazy for how-to videos and skill shares. They want to see behind the scenes in different professions. Basically, they want to feel like they're getting something out of it, Not just watching for fun, but actually learning something too.
So basically, if you can take a complex topic and break it down into bite-sized, super engaging pieces, you've basically struck gold.
You got it. And that's where your niche authority really comes into play. People see you as a credible source, so they're going to trust what you're teaching them, and they're more likely to come back for more.
Got it. So we've got niche authority, we've got edutainment. Sounds like a winning combo. But wait, what about trends? Are those still important in this whole new TikTok world?
Trends are definitely still a thing. You can't ignore them. But SocialWick really emphasized that we got to approach them in a different way now. We got to be smarter about it.
Okay, so no more just blindly copying what everyone else is doing.
Got it. But how do you stand out when, everyone's trying to do the same trendy thing? That's where your unique perspective comes in. It's about putting your own spin on a trend. Maybe even connect it back to your own little niche, You're basically showing everyone that you're not just another face in the crowd. You're a creator with, something original to offer.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. You're not just copying, you're actually, elevating the trend, adding your own flavor to it.
Exactly. And that originality is what's going to make people remember you, They'll
Right.
share your videos, and that helps build your authority even more.
So trends can actually work in your favor, as long as you're smart about it. Now, SocialWick also talked about collaboration a lot. Why is that such a big deal on TikTok?
Well, TikTok is a social platform. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
And the algorithm loves to see that connection and engagement. And what better way to do that than by teaming up with other creators?
It's like you're instantly tapping into a whole new audience, and your content stays fresh and exciting for your current followers.
Right. And there are so many ways to collaborate on TikTok, too. Duets, stitches, cross-promotion. The possibilities are, endless.
They really are.
Yeah.
Now, SocialWick also emphasized the power of live streaming. But isn't that more of a gamer thing?
It used to be, but let me tell you, live streaming is becoming a major player on TikTok now. Think about it. Live streams have this authenticity and real-time interaction that you just can't get from pre-recorded videos. You can answer questions live, respond to comments, and really make your audience feel like they're part of a community.
And strategically, wouldn't that also show the algorithm that you're really engaging with your audience?
Absolutely. Consistency is key for any platform, and that definitely applies to TikTok. SocialWick recommends posting at least 3 to 5 times a week, and yeah, that includes live streams.
Whoa, wait, 3 to 5 times a week. I can already hear the groans from all the creators out there.
I know. It sounds a bit daunting, but it's more about working smarter, not harder. SocialWick had this great tip about checking your analytics to see when your audience is most active. You can personalize your posting schedule to make sure your content is reaching the most people.
That's actually genius. So it's not just about posting a lot. It's about Posting strategically. Now for the really mind-blowing stuff, TikTok SEO. Is that even a real thing?
Oh, it's definitely a thing. And it's only going to get bigger as TikTok keeps growing. Especially with all the Gen Zers using TikTok as like their main search engine, we got to start thinking about how people are searching for information on TikTok. And most importantly, how to make sure our content pops up when they search.
I'm all ears. Break it down for me.
Yeah.
How do we actually optimize our content for TikTok search?
It's not as complicated as you think, honestly. Think about it. When you're looking for something on Google, you use keywords, right? It's kind of the same idea on TikTok. We need to know what keywords our target audience is using and then like sprinkle those keywords strategically throughout our content.
So we're talking about keywords in captions, hashtags, and even like what we're saying in the videos themselves.
Bingo. You got to think about both visual and audio SEO on TikTok now. SocialWick had this great tip, they said. Think like your audience. Like actually put yourself in their shoes. What are they searching for? What questions are they asking? Then use those same words and phrases in your videos.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. So it's not just about like cramming a bunch of keywords in there randomly. It's about actually making content that answers the questions your audience is already asking.
Exactly. It's about providing real value and making sure people can actually find that value. And that brings us to like a whole other level of TikTok strategy, creating edutainment that is both informative and captivating. But we'll dig into that a little bit later.
Okay, so my brain is like officially overflowing with all this awesome TikTok info. But let's get down to like the nitty-gritty. How do we actually make this edutainment everyone's talking about? Where do we even begin?
Well, the first thing you got to do is figure out your niche. Like, what do you know? What are you good at? What could you share with people that they'd actually find interesting and like actually learn from?
So like, let's say I'm a total fitness junkie. Could I make like tutorials about the right way to do exercises or quick workout routines? Maybe even bust some myths about working out.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to let your personality shine through. Like, what's your style? Are you super high energy and motivating? Or more chill and informative? Let people see the real you.
Yeah, because people can totally tell if you're being fake. It's not just about the info, it's about the person sharing it. Now, SocialWick also talked about how important the visuals are. And TikTok is, like, all about the visuals, right?
Yeah.
So how do we make sure our edutainment is, eye-catching and not boring?
This is where you can really get creative. Think about using text on the screen to like highlight the main points, or adding transitions to keep things interesting visually. You could even use props or demonstrations to make your videos more dynamic.
Oh, and what about using trending sounds and hashtags? How do we do that without looking like everyone else?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. The key is to find a way to incorporate those trends into your own little world. So let's say you're a chef, right? And there's this trending dance sound. Maybe you could use that sound to show off your awesome knife skills while you're like chopping veggies.
Oh, I love that. It's unexpected, it's fun, and it still shows off what you're good at. It's like you're speaking two languages at once. The language of trends and the language of, like, your expertise.
Exactly. You got it. And don't forget about hashtags. They're still super important for getting people to find your videos. Do some research, see what hashtags are popular in your niche, and use a mix of broad and specific ones to reach a wider audience.
Gotcha. So we've got the edutainment thing down. We're using trends strategically. Now let's talk about collaborations. SocialWick was super into those, and I can see why. It's like free advertising for both of you.
It's even more than that. Collaborations are all about building a community and like showing different perspectives. And remember, TikTok's algorithm loves to see those connections happening.
So how do you find the right people to collaborate with? I'm guessing it's not as simple as just like sending them a DM and being like, hey, let's make a video together.
No, not quite. Start by engaging with other creators in your niche. Like, comment on their videos, share their stuff, build an actual relationship, and when you do reach out, have a clear idea of what you want to do that would benefit both of you.
Right. It's got to be a win-win situation. You're both bringing something to the table, and both your audiences get something out of it. Now, SocialWick mentioned duets and stitches as great ways to collaborate. How can we use those effectively?
Oh, duets are awesome for reacting to someone else's video or building on what they've already done. Like, imagine a fitness person duetting with a nutritionist to offer a workout and meal plan together. Boom. Double the expertise.
And stitches let you take a little piece of someone else's video and add it to yours, right?
Yep. You could use it to add some humor or make a point. Like stitch in a funny clip from a comedian's video or a thought-provoking question from an expert in your field.
I'm starting to see how collabs can really make your videos stand out. It's like adding another layer to your whole TikTok strategy. Speaking of adding layers, let's talk about live streaming. SocialWick was really pushing that one.
Live streaming is all about making real-time connections with your people. It's like you're hanging out with them virtually and answering their questions. You can even give them a sneak peek behind the scenes.
I can see how that would be super engaging, but there's got to be a lot of pressure to perform on the spot. Any tips for rocking a live stream?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Being prepared is key. Have a plan for what you're going to talk about. And for the love of all that is holy, make sure your internet connection is solid. No one wants to watch a buffering wheel of death.
Ugh, tell me about it. Tech issues are the worst. And I'm guessing it's a good idea to let people know about your live stream ahead of time?
Definitely. Get people excited, tell them what you'll be talking about, maybe even ask them to send in questions beforehand.
And once you're live, how do you keep people engaged and make sure they don't, click away?
Talk to them. Respond to their comments, answer their questions, give shout-outs to the people who are participating. It makes them feel like they're part of the action.
It's all about creating that community vibe.
Yeah.
Like you're all hanging out together, even if you're miles apart.
You got it. Live streaming is all about being you, so don't be afraid to let loose and have some fun. Now, we've talked a lot about being consistent and how SocialWick recommends posting 3 to 5 times a week. I know that can sound kind of scary.
Yeah, it does. Between filming, editing, responding to comments, it's a lot to handle. I'm getting stressed just thinking about it.
I hear ya. The key is to find a system that works for you. Batch creating can be a huge help. Like, set aside some time each week to film a bunch of videos at once, then you can schedule them to go live throughout the week.
That's smart. It takes the pressure off having to come up with something new every single day. And I remember SocialWick talking about checking your analytics to see when your audience is most active.
Right. You want to make sure your videos are showing up when people are actually on TikTok. It's like a personalized posting schedule.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot less overwhelmed now. But let's dive into the deep end. TikTok SEO. It still blows my mind that TikTok is basically a search engine now.
I know, right? It's crazy how things have changed. But think about it. When you need to find info, where do you go? Especially younger people, they're going straight to TikTok. So we got to figure out how to get our videos in front of them when they search.
All right, I'm ready. Tell me.
How do we do it?
First things first, keyword research. What are people searching for in your niche? What questions are they asking? There are tools you can use for this. Or you can just look at popular hashtags.
And once we know the keywords, we just throw them into our captions and video descriptions. Not quite. Don't just stuff them in randomly. Use them naturally in your captions and descriptions. But here's the pro tip. Say those keywords out loud in your videos too.
Well, wait, so we're talking to the algorithm and the viewers at the same time?
Exactly. You're speaking their language. It helps TikTok understand what your video is about, and it gives your viewers the info they're looking for. Like, let's say you're a fitness expert. You could say something like, here are 3 easy exercises to strengthen your core.
Okay, yeah, you just snuck in fitness, exercises, and core. And it sounded totally natural.
See? You're getting it. And don't forget about using visuals for SEO, too. Put text on the screen to highlight those keywords. It makes your videos more interesting and helps reinforce the message.
It sounds like TikTok SEO is all about finding a balance. You got to be discoverable, but you also got to be engaging.
You got it. It's about working with the algorithm, not against it. But you also got to stay true to yourself and your style. Make content that you love, and your audience will love it too.
This has been mind-blowing. But I have to admit, it's a lot to process. Where do we even start? How do we actually put all this into action? Okay, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around all this awesome TikTok stuff. But I'm definitely feeling inspired. I don't know about you, but my mind is buzzing with ideas.
Right. It's pretty amazing what you can do with TikTok if you know what you're doing. We've gone way beyond just basic tips and tricks. We've uncovered some serious strategies here.
SocialWick really knocked it out of the park with their insights. That whole thing about niche authority was a game changer for me. It's like they gave us the secret sauce for standing out in this crazy TikTok universe.
And the cool thing about niche authority is you're not just trying to be the most popular person on TikTok. You're building a reputation as the expert in your specific area. It's like you're attracting the people who are genuinely interested in what you have to offer, not just anyone.
Yeah, exactly. And then you combine that with edutainment. It's like a superpower. You're teaching people stuff without them even realizing it because it's all wrapped up in fun and engaging content.
Totally. You're tapping into that natural human curiosity, that desire to learn and grow. And when you can make it enjoyable, well, that's when the magic happens.
SocialWick also reminded us that trends are still a big deal on TikTok. But we got to be smarter about how we use them. No more blindly following the crowd. It's all about finding the trends that fit our niche and then, like, putting our own spin on them.
Exactly. You're not just copying, you're adding something new to the mix.
Yeah.
You're showing your audience that you get it, you understand what's trending, but you're also bringing your own unique flavor to the table.
We've talked about collaborations, live streaming, TikTok SEO, so much good stuff.
Mm.
I'm starting to see how it all connects, how all these pieces fit together to create a solid strategy. But honestly, you can feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I get it. It's a lot to absorb. But remember, you don't have to tackle everything at once. Start with 1 or 2 strategies that really resonate with you, and then experiment. See what works for you, what works for your audience, and what feels authentic to your brand. And most importantly, don't forget to have fun.
Yeah, you got to enjoy the process, right?
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, it's going to show in your videos. Now, SocialWick was all about consistency. They said we should be aiming for 3 to 5 posts a week. I mean, that's a lot, especially for creators who are, like, juggling a million things.
It is. But there are ways to make it manageable. Batch creating can be a lifesaver. Set aside some time each week to film a bunch of videos all at once. That way you've got content ready to go and you don't have to be in create mode all the time. And remember that tip about checking your analytics. Knowing when your audience is most active can help you schedule your posts for maximum impact.
Right. It's like you're working smarter, not harder. Now, TikTok SEO. That was a mind blower. I never thought we'd be talking about search engine optimization on TikTok. But it makes total sense when you think about how people are using the platform to actually search for information now.
It's a whole new ballgame. We got to start thinking like search engines. What are people looking for? How can we make sure our content pops up when they search for those things? It's all about keywords, hashtags, and even saying those keywords out loud in our videos.
It's like we're speaking the algorithm's language while still creating content that's engaging and informative for our audience.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance,
Yeah.
but it's totally doable.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like we've cracked the TikTok code wide open. But before we wrap up, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is to understand that TikTok is constantly evolving. It's not just about dance trends and funny videos anymore. It's a powerful platform for education, connection, and yes, even search. So embrace that change, see it as an opportunity, and don't be afraid to experiment and try new things.
We've got to stay curious, stay adaptable, and most importantly, stay true to ourselves.
Exactly. So as you're navigating the wild world of TikTok, armed with all this newfound knowledge, I want you to ask yourself this. What kind of edutainment could you create? What unique perspective, what special skills, what awesome knowledge do you have to share with the world? Let that question be your guide and see where it takes you.
That's a fantastic question. And hey, most importantly, have fun with it. TikTok is all about creativity. It's about expressing yourself. It's about connecting with others. So let your personality shine through, and don't be afraid to take some risks.
We can't wait to see what you come up with. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, happy TikToking.